Welcome to WorkSpan TV. I'm Ryan Johnson from World at Work. I'm talking today with Greg Stoskopf and Sheila Sever of Deloitte Consulting, and we're going to talk about identifying and then compensating your critical workforce segments. Greg, let's start off with a definition. What do we mean by critical workforce segments?
There's really two ways to define a critical workforce segments. Critical workforce segments are employees that are, one, key to the mission and vision of your organization, and two, are in short supply in the marketplace. So when you combine those two factors, that is by definition a critical workforce segment.
Now, I didn't hear you say high performer. Is that not part of this definition?
We would expect to see a typical distribution of performance ratings within a critical workforce segment. So they aren't necessarily all high performers, although there would be a distribution of ratings.
Sheila, obviously, based on that definition, this is very important. I mean, critical is in the name here. How does an organization go about, or a practitioner who might be watching this, go about identifying their critical workforce segments? What's the first step?
Well, one of the first steps is to think supply and demand. So connecting with the recruiting group is good to find out where the shortages are, where they're having a difficult time attracting and retaining talent. Looking at turnover statistics is another way to do that. So looking kind of at supply and demand in the market and how you're doing in that realm. Then another is to think about the value chain within the organization. How are you planning to make money, be profitable, and move the organization forward? And which positions are really the most key to being successful in that endeavor? So if you have a high growth strategy, then perhaps it's the sales and those who can generate more revenue for the organization. It could be strategy. It could be that you're looking to grow by acquisition. And so if that's the case, then perhaps the folks who are in your long-range planning and strategic areas would be considered critical workforce. So it's really around the value creators, those that are really getting you where you need to go, rather than the value maintainers within the organization.
Greg, how do we compensate these folks, or what are you seeing from your clients that are interested in making sure they differentiate the compensation for these folks?
Well, what we're seeing is a lot of interest in doing custom surveys or special surveys, identifying a select group of competitors, identifying these critical workforce segment jobs, and using that as a supplement to the market data that's already out there. I think it's important that you look not only at compensation in the survey, but also other components of the total rewards package.
But Sheila, really this is about more than just pay.
Yes.
World at Work talks about total rewards. Deloitte Consulting talks about total rewards. This is about total rewards, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've had clients do everything from large sign-on bonuses, which I think people are fairly familiar with, long-term practice, to taking folks from the work site to a remote or work from home kind of arrangement as part of their work-life balance strategy. We've seen things like changing the competitive strategy, like instead of targeting 50th percentile for those jobs, they target 75th percentile. So a variety of things can be done, not unlike when you have a high potential employee. When you have a critical workforce job, you can think about the various components of the compensation package as well and do things like target more long-term incentives, target higher levels of bonus, perhaps direct a higher proportion of the merit budget to those jobs. So there are lots of things you can do throughout your compensation program.
I want to thank Greg Stoskopf and Sheila Sever from Deloitte Consulting, talking about critical workforce segments and the way to identify and compensate them. And for WorkSpan TV and World at Work, I'm Ryan Johnson.